BeHealth and Rady Children's Hospital, and we're here today with Les and Sunny from Outdoor Outreach.
So I'm not sure if you all know this, but Rady Children's Hospital serves 98% of the pediatric population in San Diego County. So our catchment area ranges all the way from up in Riverside, all the way down to Imperial County and the border areas. We have, in addition to the incredible physical health and medical care we provide at Rady Children's, we also have quite a robust mental health program, and we service many of the pediatric population in San Diego County. We have outpatient mental health clinics, and we also provide services to school-based mental health services. We have the behavioral health urgent care in Mid-City. We're lucky enough to have a program up at Torrey Hills. And we also have a psychiatric emergency department that we will be developing over the next year. So it's very exciting for us. In addition to the inpatient child and adolescent psychiatry program, which is an inpatient unit within our hospital. And we also have a crisis stabilization unit and
Up and coming emergency psychiatry.
yeah, in our psychiatry.
And I'm Lester Duncan with Outdoor Outreach. Outdoor Outreach is actually celebrating its 20th year as a San Diego-based nonprofit organization focused on youth development. And what we do is we introduce at-risk and system-involved youth with the transformative power of the outdoors. So we recognize that resilience is built through youth engaging meaningfully in the outdoors, receiving meaningful mentorship, building peer relationships. We know of the tremendous health benefits of being outdoors, physical health benefits, but now we're also realizing and recognizing the mental health benefits as well. And I'll just cite that the Center for Nature and Health up north out of Oakland Children's Hospital, Dr. Nushin from there had indicated in some of her research that sometimes as simple as a walk in the park has the equivalent effects of antidepressants. And so we recognize that by engaging youth meaningfully in the outdoors, that they have this tremendous opportunity to build resilience, to build pro-social skills and behaviors. And so the partnership that we've been able to engage in with Rady Children's Hospital, and we just finished our first cohort on Sunday, has demonstrated just that. So we'll talk a little bit more about that throughout this presentation.
So as Les was describing, we know that youth need more than traditional mental health services to assist them in coping and change in their behaviors and the way in which they function. So our partnership between Rady's and Outdoor Outreach, our goal is to carry over skills and enhance the traditional mental health treatment that they're receiving, to decrease their symptoms and behaviors, to increase relationships, and to decrease their social isolation. So the main thing is that community resources, we believe, are underutilized as an extension of mental health services. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for youth in San Diego County and nationally. Recidivism to behavioral health services averages 20 to 30%. In other words, they keep returning to our systems of care. And mental health crisis for youth requires global, sustainable services to youth to address their needs to help with both of those areas. So as we delve into this project requires the youth, of course, and this age group is 12 to 17. They're caregivers. Our program at Rady's, Outdoor Outreach's program, community providers, law enforcement, schools, and San Diego County community agencies. So how might we, this is our problem statement, help adolescent youth between the ages of 12 to 17 in San Diego County develop sustainable skills, behaviors, and positive relationships in order to maintain or improve their mental health, reduce recidivism, and increase resiliency. Our project plan, as set out through BeHealth, is set here, but it's a little bit hard to read, so we created an individual one for you guys. And essentially what we have done already is developed a pilot based on this concept. It started in March of 2019. We have 2 cohort groups of kids, one in the mental health realm and one in our medical community realm of kids. There's 12 students per cohort and 1 social worker from Rady's working with the Outdoor Outreach team. Each program is 8 weeks in duration. And youth are required to be medically stable with no behavioral issues that would impede their participation in the well-being of others. So those kids that are brought forward to the cohort groups are assessed by the social workers at Rady Children's Hospital in the gamut of programs that we serve, and they're moving these kids through this transition into this cohort group. So we did a literature review on evidence-based practices, and they show limited research that's been done on the effects of outdoor programming on the mental health, recidivism, anti-treatment, and overall resilience of youth. Statistics show that 50% of children per month are brought to our, 50 children per month are brought to our ED by PERT, so law enforcement. Our ED sees an average of 300 children a month with suicidal or homicidal behaviors. Most therapy lasts 13 to 26 weeks, and carryover of these skills is limited to real-world experiences, thus the recidivism rate. Our therapists, even with the use of evidence-based treatment for parents and children, they need more exposure to organic situations where skills can be practiced, and that's a limiting factor for our youth. So outdoor outreach provides that opportunity for the kids to go out and address their anxiety issues, their depression, and work on being in a real-life environment to be able to develop those skills over time. There we go. Sunny dip.
So I have the pleasure of also being in the field quite a bit with our students. And this was a survey taken not necessarily with this program, but just participants throughout outdoor outreach. And so after a post-trip survey of over 100 participants, this is the research data that we found. And we utilized the UCSD survey model. So we reached out for their help, and then they configured a survey that we passed out to plenty of our participants. And I think the numbers kind of speak to themselves. I have more confidence in myself after participating in a trip, and it's 84%. And then it just kind of goes down. Not go down, but down the line. And then a few important ones is that, I feel welcomed on this trip. So all of these statements, as is pretty clearly stated, it's the students that come out with us are feeling that they're in a safe space. They're feeling that they have a sense of belonging, and that these trips are really beneficial for their well-being. So with this one, this is a picture of our very first cohort, and this was meeting day one. And so we intentionally scheduled a team building as our day one activity. And so we stayed at the hospital, and we utilized their conference room. And it ended up being very, very, just such a positive, wonderful day. They were involved as well. And so it was the first time we brought outdoor outreach instructors along with Rady staff to meet the cohort. And within the cohort, they did not know each other. So they started off all as individual students coming in, not knowing each other's backgrounds or having any previous relationships. So day one, we had a few questions about, okay, what do you think? These are the activities that we'll be doing, which involved mountain biking, rock climbing, kayak, high ropes course. And so from some of the students, their reaction was, nope, I'm not going to do that. Even though they signed on, they kind of knew what they were getting themselves into.
Their parents signed them on.
Yeah, that's true. So the statement was, no, you're never going to catch me doing that. And by week 4, midpoint, which is right around when we were setting this together, it was, they created bonds within each other. Really strong friendships happened right at day one on this meeting day. And the students there were a couple that were shy. There were a couple that physically removed themselves from the rest of the group and just chose to sit by themselves. And our program model is challenge by choice in anything that we do. And so we weren't trying to push them to have snacks with us, to interact. We really kept it hands off. But at every point, I think one of us, a social worker, we've stopped by just to check in with that student. Hey, how's it going? And realize that they just prefer to be on the outside looking in. But by week 4, our midpoint, there were relationships made. There were just friendships that we could visibly witness, and it created some strong bonds, even just by midpoint. And then what we learned afterwards was, throughout this experience, we celebrated differences. So these students come from all various different schools, different backgrounds, different stories. And then the accommodations and modifications that we made on our side was we identified, well, if verbal direction was tough for like maybe the reader, the type of learner that they are, we would scribe things, or we would have someone ask a question, like the social worker that was on our program, ask a question and then scribe for that student. We would have a very clear, defined detail of the day, right? Because they're already getting to an activity that's a bit nerve-wracking, having them step out of their comfort zone. And so we planned out the day, verbalized what we were going to do, and then checked in to see what are some big fears, what are some challenges they foresee, and how we can best support. And yeah. Oh no, that's great. The relationships part was the capitalized.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. And then, I'm not going to go through each quote, but these were directly from students after our rock climbing trip. So the question was asked, how can you take these experience today and apply it to tackle challenges that you may face in life? And we mentioned it could be anything from school to home life to your personal life. And these were some of the quotes that we gathered from students. I'll give you a moment to kind of...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
This one was particularly powerful.
And I think one of the visions that we had is for the kids to start identifying beyond their diagnosis, whether it was health related or mental health related, and start to integrate into some normalized activities, with the undercurrent being we're addressing your anxiety, we're addressing the depression, we're addressing your impulse control, all those behavioral things that we see within the mental health realm. So these were some key areas, but we never labeled it. We never identified their mental health piece. We made it about normalization and just everyday kid stuff out in the world.
And the kids, something to add also, and the kids got to in real-time practice some conflict management.
Yep.
And so as Cindy talked about kind of the adaptiveness of our program, I think one of the most powerful pieces of the program were, two of our teens, as teens are, we're kind of getting into it just based on communication. There was some rough communication between the two, and so in real time, our program kind of adapted to be able to address some of those issues.
Problem
yeah.
solving.
Yep, and they leaned right into it. By the end of the program on Saturday, they were running on the beach together. So.
And our second question, following that first one, is how do you think activities like these improve your well-being? And so these were some of the highlighted quotes. Of course, for the outdoor enthusiasts, all the instructors were like, yes, we love the outdoors, yay, it's better than watching TV.
Collaboration between Rabies and Outdoor Outreach is to provide innovative, engaging, and interactive interventions to youth to integrate their therapeutic goals in a real-life environment. I think we did that one. Our relationship continues. We hope to be able to continue it. Partners coming together require the entire community. This was our original sketch that we did to build that in when we were in the program. Our prototypes and the referral process, as I mentioned, comes through Rady's social work team. And then looking at the way in which Outdoor Outreach looks at hierarchy of needs. We can slow down and give you that if you want more details. But overall, we are clearly giving you way too much information if you're telling us to wrap it up. We didn't know how many minutes we had, so we were just pushing through. So we would like to moderately scale this program up. We're hoping to be able to do 4 cohorts of youth a year, 3 mental health and 1 medical, 8 weeks each. Moves beyond our traditional system of care and maintains partnership. We would love to develop partnerships beyond just outdoor, but maybe arts, music, those kinds of things in the community. And our Rady services and Outdoor Outreach services, what we need is funding to continue. Any questions, comments? Boom!